Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. I want to cover Von Damme here as a general history of him. I think a clear understanding of him. I've covered everybody else of any kind of note. The problem with the so-called, if there really is a martial arts industry in there, I guess there's a lot of dumb joes out there with a lot of these bottom feeders in them doing whatever they do. As I said, my seeking for any kind of decent martial arts training in the 80s in the Los Angeles area, it's the same old story. They're all bottom feeders, they're all kickers and punchers, they all run their dumb joes like some sort of gym class. It's really boring. And it's so sad that everybody has the same mentality, that somehow this is some military pursuit. While most martial artists, including those that teach it, are cowards or bullies. It's as simple as that. That's why you seek out martial arts. Because you're fearful or because you want to learn how to beat up bozos. That's the reality of martial arts in general. Not only that, it's a dangerous thing to get involved with, not only from the bottom feeder deviates that run these dumb joes, but they also, to think that you're going to fight the way they teach you how to fight is the absurdity of absurdities. So, it's like teaching somebody with a BB gun and then taking them out to a war zone. You ain't going to make it. So, as I said in so many of my other ones, if you're looking for self-defense, you want to learn how to fight to take care of yourself, not martial arts, which isn't even good for you physically. Because if you see most martial artists, particularly those that are non-Asians, they have big giant beer bellies because they're never working their stomach muscles. So it's not even really good for physical fitness. Now, martial arts movie stars work out a lot, but it has nothing to do with working out martial arts-wise. Just like Chuck Norris with the Total Gym, they're using all sorts of equipment, as did Bruce Lee and everybody else. So you're going to have to work out like a bodybuilder if you expect to look good. Martial arts is not going to do that. As a matter of fact, building muscles, as many Asians have stated of Bruce Lee, the way that he actually built muscles slows you down in many areas. Now, I don't know how true all that stuff is. Everybody's got an idiot opinion. So all of that goes with martial arts is the same old story. Getting confident of fighting in the idiot way with a stupid little outfit on barefoot couldn't be more worthless. This is going to throw you off in a real physical altercation on the street, and you will get smashed, not to mention the fact that you have to be taught at a high level to take on multi-adversaries. And the way you do this is by learning how to use the legal weapons in your country, state, etc. That's the best way. And of course, you can certainly learn takedown punches and other things, things that will be life-saving, eye-gouging, all the things that you're never going to learn in martial arts who want to cheat you, get you into contracts, make you buy a bunch of stuff because it's a field of no money. Which is another problem. That's why there's so many child molesters, criminals, and everything else. So you got to understand that as an industry. But the industry are the people who like martial arts don't support martial arts. I don't think that the actual subscriptions to Black Belt and other magazines are that large, considering population. Secondly, none of the movies ever made any money except for a select few. Some of Steven Seagal's movies made money. The better produced ones, the more expensive ones did okay. I think the Glimmer Man and his original ones, which a lot of them really are, I don't even consider these martial arts movies. They're more action movies. There's more gun shooting than there is fighting. And of course, that's a reality because people don't want to see that unless you're in Hong Kong. Oh, we fight. Okay, movie start. Fight. Movie end. Fight. So it's just a bunch of very badly done, very poorly put together nonsense that you get from these horrible Hong Kong movies. That is virtually, they're boring. I guess. If you go in there for a few pennies in Hong Kong, it's just entertainment like it was in the past. So we have to understand that in the bigger picture. But none of the martial arts movies, even a very high quality one recently made to kind of revive the ninja movies, were able to the Great Ninja movie, which starred a South Korean pop star, very well produced by Silver, who did the actual Matrix producers, made, I believe, $50 million only because of the Korean. Nobody else went and saw that. It was very well done, very high quality, very well acted, and of course, nobody went and saw it, like they don't go and see any of them. Martial art movies now are relegated down to $5-6 million movies, and that's it, and they go straight to video. You're never going to see these in theaters, as is the movie here. This is Van Damme's new movie that just came out, Born to Kill. I haven't been able to see this quite yet, and I will be making a review on this sub. But what I want to talk about is Van Damme in general. He's one of the most disrespected martial artists out there, and this is a very fanatical guy. A lot of people don't like him for a number of reasons, but he's got that very typical Latin, European, juvenile humor, which you find in a lot of different cultures. The Spanish, the French, particularly the Mexicans, which have this kind of very silly, almost vaudeville type humor, where they get like a fat guy and put him in tiny shorts and a little shirt and make him talk like a little kid. And they think this is hilarious. I used to watch these on Mexican TV all the time. This is the kind of humor you get in most of these type of countries. We see this in Italy. I forget this guy's name. He was popular about 5-10 years ago and did a lot of little comedy things. It's very slapsticky, immature stuff. I remember him at the Academy Awards. I don't remember his name again. Where I think he won or was called up, and instead of walking down the aisle, he climbed down the seats. You know, in a big event like this. Very, very poor stuff. Not funny. The kind of things that somebody grabs something and falls to the ground. All this little slapsticky stuff. So this is what you get. Now, he's from Belgianese land. He's Belgian, whose language is mostly Flemish. 60% of the population, and we'll give you a little background of Belgianese land. And the other 40% speak French. He speaks in the minority. He doesn't speak Flemish. Now, Belgianese land was part of the Netherlands originally, and that's where Flemish comes from. So, it also borders France, and of course, there's a heavy influence there, depending on what city you're in. But this is very typical of Europe, where everybody's kind of squished together. But I'm surprised there's 2 languages, because most countries don't do that. But there's an awful lot of Netherlandese, Hollandese people, and French in Belgian land. Now, Belgium is really not known for much of anything. As usual, as a typical European World War II participator, they were a Nazi sympathizer. They were neutral. Like all of Europe, that very few people know, there pretty much were 3 countries fighting the Nazis. The British, the French, and the Americans. Everybody else was working with the Nazis, either directly or indirectly. Something that seems to have escaped it. So, same old story with them. They were neutral and taken over in 10 minutes with 2 guys, 2 handguns, and a guy that had a baseball bat. So the Belgianese surrendered. Of course, they had their very worthwhile treaties with the Germans, and of course, as they are today, the lying scum they are, they didn't, of course, do that. So everybody they invaded, including Dutchyland, Holland. So what is Belgium known for? Well, the main thing that Belgians is known for, Belgianese people, and you're talking about the number 1 guy, is not Van Damme. He's probably number 2. Is the Smurfs. The Smurfs were invented by a Belgianese guy. So the Smurfs are a huge multi-million dollar, maybe billions of dollars. I guess they're not too popular anymore, but the Smurfs were huge with toys and books and everything else. And this was a person who was Belgian who actually put this together. Again, you probably thought it was coming from the Germans who steal everything, but they didn't, like they've invented nothing. So we have to keep that in mind as the bigger picture here. The other thing that Belgium is known for, which is sad, that again, because of the fact that they're more Latin, being French, they are not known for what they have two masters of in their country, which are master chocolatiers. Yes, that's right. There's not too many master chocolatiers in Europe. I think there's one in Switzerland, and there's two in Belgium, and Belgian chocolate is one of the best chocolates in the world. I think all chocolate is good, and I really haven't found any that's overly poor. The American Hershey certainly is a delicious chocolate. The Swiss chocolate certainly is good, but generally the most fairly priced foreign chocolate you can get is Belgianese, and this is usually found in stores that you can look for Belgian chocolate, and it certainly is delicious, and that tends to be less expensive. The problem with everything from Switzerland is the usual gossip. They're so great and they charge you a fortune. I haven't found that Swiss chocolate is worth the extra money, like so many things that are expensive, which may be pretty good, but are they worth the extra money? In my book, not. So they're known for their chocolatiers. They're known for their Smurfs, and I guess we could follow it. Number 3 is they're known for Van Damme. Other than that, they have they have nothing else going for them except for the fact that they are moving, as most of the world is, into fascism. They just jailed somebody for a year for putting what they consider anti-immigration jokes on their social media. So, which is very typical of what's happening with the world in general. So, that's very typical, but as most people, you don't know what's going on in the world, especially if you're an American, because there's no information coming about these types of things, and it just kind of flies over everybody's head. Now, Van Damme is an interesting guy in his own way. He really is a fanatic. He claims to be a devout Catholic, which is very typical of people from his region, the French, etc., still living in Catholicism at a very high level, even though he certainly hasn't shown that in his lifestyle or what he does in general with multiple marriage. And he's a person who doesn't believe in marriage in general. He doesn't believe in monogamy. He is a person who wants to have a open sex life. I basically agree with that. The bottom line is that if you're going to be a Catholic, you can't be a devout Catholic and have that. He is also known for his drug taking and other things. So it's far from this beautiful obeying the laws that we think are Christian. He was, and he still is, he's kind of now, he's the one person that didn't have a dumb Joe in Los Angeles that I was familiar with. He never taught anybody there. Everybody else that I know of taught people. Even Bruce Lee taught people, but you couldn't really get lessons from him unless you were a celebrity or had a lot of money. But everybody else that I know of had a dumb Joe. Certainly Seagal did. Norris had schools all over the place in Los Angeles. So any of the big people there that came up did that. Van Damme didn't. He really didn't have a reputation. There's no reason for him to teach. I guess he could have, since he had a lot of financial problems, but and knew how to run organizations and businesses as he did in Belgianese land. But he never did that, as far as my knowledge, and I never knew anyone who went to courses or anything else. And he was a person I never ran into personally, as I did with the others out there. Particularly that time in Los Angeles where it was easy to get to people. But I never ran into him. I know people who have seen him and have met him very briefly. But the bottom line is that this is